This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's indeed Clay's Canucks Commentary for Monday, January the 9th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being here. As we start off, as always, moderators, thank you in advance. Do what you need to do. Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thanks to all of you for your support as always, and everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether in my beautiful neighborhood in Steveston, in Richmond, in the city, in the Lower Mainland, in the province, in the country, on the continent, or around the world. Thank you for being here. You know I don't take you for granted. I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for bed, school, work, or whatever you're doing. But the fact that you are here with me, I appreciate it. 35 of you in here already. That is awesome. Let's get the likes up. I appreciate that as always. So this is what I invite you to do. Subscribe so you can not only get active in tonight's chat, but so you can get my videos every single day and get notified of those videos. Like the video, like the fact that we are together, like the fact that Jacob bowled another perfect game today. I'll get to that in a second. And yeah, it was a pretty cool day. Jacob coming home, going to bowl tonight, and hitting yet another perfect game. And yes, as Taylor says, who did double duty tonight? Let me know. Put it in the chat if you actually watched Parker and me 4 hours ago. Doesn't it seem like eternity? 4 hours ago, Parker and I were online with Canucks After Dark. And if you were here tonight as well and you did double duty, that is awesome. Right on cue, right on schedule. I'm going to invite you to subscribe, to like this video, and you can leave donations like legendary Lucas Gates just did. Choo choo, hype for Clay, like, sub, and become a member. Getting my reverse retro. I saw your tweet, Lucas. I'm very excited for you. My email came in and saying it's available to be picked up. That is awesome. So let's give some love to legendary Lucas Gates. Thank you for that. And thanks to everyone who watched both shows. And thank you, Lucas, for that donation. So you can donate like Lucas did. Get that donation train rolling. You can gift a membership, which is the same as $5 donation. You can become a member, upgrade your membership. Most importantly, like I said, get active in the chat section. If you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review as always. And don't forget, I'll go for the first 10 or 15 minutes. Then I will do my mid-show sponsor read. Then I will do a call out for your submissions. And then we will take that home for the second half of the show. First things first. Jacob, my champion son. Well, he wasn't champion. He got third. He got a nice bronze medal, but he made Team Canada. He flew home today, got home this morning. Gail's mom picked him up because I was at work. Gail was at work. Sean was at school. Gets home, has a nice McDonald's lunch. Then we had a pizza celebration for him because that's his favorite food. And then he goes to league tonight. And what does he do at league? Oh, no big deal. He just bowled another perfect game. So let's watch this. I have it up ready for you on Twitter. I want you guys to watch this real quick. We'll watch it twice because it takes like 10 seconds to watch because it's so fast. But here's Jacob's 5th career perfect game. So if you've been watching some of his videos, you'll notice that he looks a little different there. The way his hands are, his elbow is tucked closer to his body. And after he made Team Canada on Wednesday and Thursday, he actually got a bowling lesson from the best bowling coach in Canada on the weekend. And he basically, the main thing he worked on was having Jacob hold the ball closer to his body. He's skinny, he's athletic, he can now have enough force, enough power, enough control to keep it closer to his body as opposed to coming around, and the result is a much smoother ball. So let's watch it one more time. So perfect game in bowling is 12 straight strikes. Pitcher 300 game, that counts for 300. So if you play 3 games, a 900 series, which is impossible, that's 3 perfect games. But an 800 series is really good. That means you had 3 scores that total more than 800. And if you do the math, that means you're only giving up 100 pins over 3 games. So an 800 series over 3 games is a very, very big accomplishment. Today, Jake hit that for the first time. He had his 300, he had a 240, he had a 260 something. So he basically bowled 245, 265. He basically bowled 810 or so, which is astounding. So I'm as well as Jacob has been bowling, I actually think he's even going to get better. And if he continues to improve, he's not only going to do some major damage at the World Championships in Peru this summer, but I think even going forward, he is going to do a lot better. So thank you for letting me share. That is awesome. And then let's see. I see, what did it say there? Carol, I've been very sick. I've been in the hospital. Oh, Carol, I am very sorry to hear that. And I feel bad for you, Carol. I hope you get better, and please shoot me a text so that that I can at least get updates from you for sure. Carol, I hope you feel better. Truly, thanks for popping on. But if you have to go, then you have to go. Make sure that you get the rest that you need, undoubtedly. Carol, I asked you to rest. I didn't ask you to give a donation, but I appreciate it anyway. So this is a $10 one. So that's about a choo-choo. Oh, my voice kind of changed halfway there. Carol, hi, Clay. Congratulations to Jacob for that wonderful job he did to join Team Canada. I'm sorry I haven't been in the streams. I've been sick and in the hospital. Carol, the priority is for you to get better, but I won't shoot you a text now. It's kind of late. Plus, I'm streaming. I will message you tomorrow, and I hope that you can indeed recover very quickly. But thank you for the donation. Let's give Carol some love, as you guys have been doing in the chat for sure. Question today is, who's to blame for this disastrous Canucks season? And I can be the founder of the GLCPC and still acknowledge that this season has not gone according to anyone's plan. Everyone had high hopes for this team, playoff aspirations, but realistically, the playoffs are going to be very tough to reach right now. And I'm looking, let's end the poll because we had it up for the first 10 minutes of the show. And right now, the final results, remember, it's not going to add up to 100% because they round down. You're saying ownership is 62%, management's 19%, players 16%, and coaches only 1%. So let's take Boudreau and staff out of the equation because they only got 1%. That means 1 vote. So, and players and management, players only 16%, management, Rutherford and Alvin, 19%. So 62% of you are pinning this mess that the Canucks are in on ownership. And that's, of course, Francesco Aquilini. Not surprised that ownership wins the poll. I am surprised that it won by so much. I want to show you an article today that came out in a Pittsburgh website, a Pittsburgh news outlet. And then the whole article was based on Jim Rutherford going back to Pittsburgh for the first time since I don't know if it's first time. Actually, start again. He's not going back. His team is going back, but Rutherford will still stay in Vancouver because they're in the middle of scouting meetings. And he's the president of hockey ops, so he's staying in town. But it was a really good chat with Rutherford just about how he was planning to retire at the end of his Pittsburgh tenure, but then COVID happened, and then he got called out of retirement or semi-retirement to work with the Vancouver Canucks. And I want to show you interesting thing, a couple interesting things that Rutherford had to say. He said this. In Vancouver, actually, let me make this a tiny bit bigger. Oh, that's very big. Too big. I gotta go down a little bit. In Vancouver, we have a CFL football team, but we don't have an NFL or Major League Baseball like you do in Pittsburgh. A big thing here, and I totally understand it, is the frustration of having a franchise for as long as they have, getting to the Stanley Cup Finals a few times, but not winning the cup. And then, of course, even worse than that is a number of years without being a playoff team. There's a lot of frustration, and I understand it. We have a wonderful fan base. He's talking about us, you guys. They understand the game. I like being in a Canadian market. I was born and raised in Canada. Quite frankly, I like being in this market. The Canucks. Oh no, that's not Rutherford talking. I knew it was going to be a challenge. We had some work to do to improve the team. It's probably been a little bigger challenge than I expected in trying to unravel the cap situation here. The sooner we can do that, the sooner we can move forward and improve the team. We have a lot of good players here. We certainly show signs of that at different times with this group. We haven't totally come together as a team, which would give us a chance to be more consistent. We're working and looking at what we can do better. And a couple more things real quick. I have a lot of respect for Patrick Allvin. He's really good at what he does. The roles are different with me being president and him being the general manager. I don't do the phone calls to other GMs and things like that. He does the day-to-day stuff that I would have done in the past. A little bit of an adjustment for me, an adjustment for him in his new role. But overall, our working relationship is real good. We built a very strong hockey ops department here. We just have to work hard. We'll never get as good as we should be as soon as everybody wants. But I think the opportunity is going to be there at some point in time that we can put a pretty good team together here. Now, there's a lot there. I always appreciate Rutherford's candor. I'm not sure Bruce Boudreau always appreciates Jim Rutherford's candor, but you can tell that he's going to be patient. It sounds like him and Allvin and Granato and Castonguay and Smeel, they're all going to be patient as they look towards what they should do with this Vancouver Canucks team. And if you guys were on Canucks After Dark, then you know that Parker and I spend a lot of time talking about the merits of a rebuild. Yes, they got to keep their eyes on short term, but more importantly, the long term. And this is going to be a fascinating trade deadline coming up because you have the Bo Horvat situation. You have Andrei Kuzmenko, who's going to be a free agent. You have Luke Shen, who's going to be a free agent. I do agree that Pettersson, Hughes, and Demko should be the untouchables. And then you can look at buyouts for OEL, Myers, Pearson, Garland, Besser. I'm not sure if anyone is going to be safe from a buyout, one except for, of course, the big three of PD, Hughes, and Demko. In fact, one thing we talked on Canucks After Dark is JT Miller's contract, his current contract ends the same time as Bo Horvat's. They did not have to rush into signing JT Miller way back in September. In September 2022. They could have waited out their options, Horvat versus Miller, keep one, keep both, trade both, whatever it is. But by hitching their wagon to JT Miller, they basically said to Bo Horvat, we're going to prioritize Miller. And look where we're at now. It sounds like the Canucks are going to indeed try one more time to negotiate with him. But really, is that going to go anywhere? And then, the other thing, I want to bring up this point that Rosero brings up. The other thing that we talked about on Canucks After Dark was, it's one thing, will Canucks fans have the patience, the maturity, the intellectual maturity to sit through a rebuild, a true rebuild? The Canucks have never truly rebuilt. They've tried to rebuild on the fly. We know that usually doesn't work. It's the exception, not the rule, when teams try to rebuild on the fly. And this is why we are exactly where we are. Only a couple playoff appearances in the past 8 or 9 years. So that's why we are in the mess that we are right now. And that's why over 60% of you are indeed pointing it at Aquilini as opposed to Rutherford, Alvin, Boudreau, or the players. Now, this is what I'm going to do. We're already at the halfway point. I'm going to do my mid-show sponsor read, and then I'm going to leave a lot of time for your questions and comments. So you can talk about, don't type it in yet because I'm not going to answer it. Wait till I finish wait till I give you the signal. And remember, I do this so I can keep up. I'm not 5 minutes behind by the time I already start with your questions. So hold on to your questions, copy and paste, do whatever you want. But in a couple minutes, I'll release you to ask your questions, to leave comments, and I'll get to as many of them as I can. And you can talk about who you blame. You can talk about, are you patient enough for a rebuild? Do you think Canucks fans are patient enough for a rebuild? You know, actually, that's a question I'll ask right now as I head into my mid-show sponsor read, start a poll. Do you think the Canucks fan base will accept a full rebuild? That's what I'll ask for the next couple minutes as I do my mid-show sponsor read. So answer that. Click on that while you're listening to me talk about my sponsors. Shout out to my primary sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. Shout out to my secondary sponsor, Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Sign up now for a free 7-day trial. Use the link scrolling across the bottom of your screen, performandtransform.ca/CanuckClay, and Coach Patrick will contact you. Shout out to Gassy Jack Art, maker of this fine artwork. By the way, I saw someone at the meetup actually do this when I said Gassy Jack Art, so that was kind of cool. Shout out to Monkey Nine Brewing, my eternal sponsor, and shout out to Vessi Footwear. Use the discount code CanuckClay at checkout at vessi.com and receive $15 off every single pair of Vessi shoes that you buy. Once again, subscribe so you can get active in the chat section and you get my videos every day. Like this video, leave a donation, gift a membership, become a member, and rate and review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Now, I will answer your questions and comments starting now. Justin, I have seen so many losses over the last few years. What's another few years of it? It means trying something new they have never done before, and that might work because this now isn't working. As positive as I am, I agree with you. I agree with you, Justin, because what we've tried to do in the past certainly is not working. Between the 94 team and the 2011 team, which one do you think was a more complete team? I think the 2011 team, because you had outstanding goaltending. Well, Luongo versus McLean. McLean was good. You had a high-powered offense, Sedins, Kessler, Burrows versus obviously Bure and Linden. And then I think the 2011 defense was a tiny bit better. But the 94 defense was tougher. The 2011 defense was more skilled. Oh, and you know, both went to Game 7. I think the 94 team had they didn't come in as the first seed. That was when they knocked out the Calgary Flames. So the 94 team was more of a feel-good story and kind of the underdog, whereas the 2011 team, as President's Trophy winners, were the favorites all along. Emmett says we need a new owner that isn't so nosy. Yeah, I don't think that's going to change, though. Great point. Harry, thanks for hosting the meetup yesterday. You're welcome. Glad to see you as well. What needs to change for the Canucks in order for them to win games again? A focus on defense and to get Thatcher Demko back. That really showed it to me yesterday for sure. We should have started rebuilding 10 years ago. Rosario, I agree. Unfortunately, I think Canucks fans could survive a rebuild since ticket prices would probably drop. We would see a lot of fans at 10 games who normally can't afford it. Most fans would be angry though. Oh, that's an interesting opinion, viewpoint. Interesting. My OCD likes that Google is not rounding down the vote percentages. Love it, Jeff. Love it. Carol, Clay, if the Canucks do rebuild, how long do you think it's going to take them to become a rebuild? I think it would have taken 5 years like Lyndon wanted. Yeah, a true rebuild will probably take 3 or 4 years. You can't do a true rebuild and expect to be competitive in 1 or 2 years. I think at least 3, but maybe closer to 4 or 5 to be a true contender. You can start to make the playoffs, but to be a true contender. Some fans want playoffs, but my question to them is, why are you in favor of always trying to squeak in a wildcard spot for maybe 2 home games? Why is that worth it? Ownership might like the playoff revenue, but you're right. It does not do much for their actual chances of advancing. Linden and Brackett tried to be patient. That's why I blame ownership. Rush the rebuild is always 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Yep, that's a great point, and that's why Linden was ultimately ousted. Full rebuild gives us hope, says legendary Andrew Chang. Could the Canucks possibly get someone on the trade deadline? Harry, usually a team in the Canucks position who is outside of the playoffs looking in, they're the team that's not trying to get really good players. They're looking to trade players like a Horvat away and in turn get younger players, prospects, and picks. Brian likes the 94 team. I'm not a doctor, so I don't have patience. Very good. PD's not going to stick around that long. Demko for sure should stay. If he was going to have an off year, it'd be this one with the draft being so stacked. Yeah, Jeremy, maybe he's doing it on purpose. I don't see PD wanting to rebuild. That's the fear, is are you going to lose buy-in from PD, Hughes, and Demko? Selling the fans on a rebuild after the last regime didn't do it might be harder than people think. Also depends on how long the rebuild takes. Benning regime should have done it sooner. Yep. And a key point, think, in the summer of 2020, we lost Tanev, Markstrom, Toffoli, Stetcher for nothing. Got nothing back for them because they all went to free agency. And then the next summer, we traded away the 9th overall pick for and the $12 million that was going to be Eriksson, Beagle, and Sutter for Eriksson, Beagle, and Roussel for OEL and Garland. So those 2 summers back to back put this team in a really tough spot. Blame ownership, multiple coaching staffs, 2 management groups since Mike Gillis. The only common denominator is Aquilini. And Rome Ticklin, nice to see you. Do you think going in Linden's direction would have turned out better than what's happened to say? Easy to say, but I do think yes. But I'm not sure if we're ever going to see Linden back here. David, I don't know how many fans will accept the full rebuild, but if I were a fan of the Canucks, I had to say that the Habs ownership group recognized such a need. And that's even after 21 Cup. Yeah, I think that 21 Cup appearance was a bit of a fluke, quite frankly. Did you read that I blame you as a joke? It's the owners. Okay, thank you. Just making sure that you're not blaming me, Fillmore. 2011 team was better. President's Trophy winner and all. The 94 team was... Yes, that's what I mean. I do think it was a feel-good story, but they were definitely the underdogs. We will get to the bottom of who's responsible for the disastrous season. I know for a fact Clay is not responsible. So now it's just 8 billion other... Okay, so take me off of the list. But yes, I narrowed the list down by at least 1. I agree with Ricky. Should have happened sooner. Canucks need to put the players they seem to be having a problem trading on waivers. Let them go for cap space. Yeah, it's not the best look, but I can understand your frustration, Jackson. What grade would you give the Canucks goaltending so far this season? C. Prior to the stretch, I would have given it a B, but now I've dropped it down to a C. No, I think Demko is a legitimate number 1. I'm just not convinced he was fully healthy this year. Sabres got good players and picks for Eichel. Do you think Horvat gets the same quality of assets? What's a realistic return? I've been talking about 3 assets. A good young player or 2, plus a pick or a prospect to add up to 3. Horvat, Kuzmenko, and Luke Shen become free agents, Harry, at the end of this year. Yes, I think it's safe to say that Benning's trades have set us back. For sure. I can see the Canucks doing a rebuild, but I hope EP40 and a couple others that are good stay, as I hate to see EP go. Yeah, I don't think Pettersson, Hughes, or Demko are going anywhere. If the Canucks somehow win the draft lottery, drafting Bedard will give this whole franchise a huge rejuvenation and something big for fans to feel good about. I agree. Local boy, merchandise for days, for sure, and renewed hope. I agree with you, Jeff. I think it's unlikely that Linden comes back. What type of players are you looking for, Clay, at the trade deadline? Young, 25 and under, difference makers, or will grow into difference makers for sure. AHL team needs a rebuild too. No, they're doing well. Rebuild is the only way to get out of this S show. That's fair, Japan. Linden was snubbed for wanting a rebuild to make the Canucks better. Yeah, someone else said this yesterday. Hughes to Devils for Holtz, Nemec, times 2 first-round picks, 2nd and a 3rd. I don't think New Jersey does that. That's a big haul. Legendary Lucas Gage, choo choo. Thank you for the donation. If you can't handle turbulence, maybe sports ain't for you. I'm not even sure, Lucas, who that's directed at. But yeah, that's what we've been talking about is this has been a turbulent franchise for basically its entire history, but especially over the past few years. Full rebuilds don't always work, but if we never try, then how can we be sure? If it doesn't work, then so be it. But by the small chance it works, isn't that worth it? We deserve that as fans. Yeah, that's a great point, Justin. I think some fans will certainly have the stomach for it and other fans won't. And according to our poll, we think that 75% of you, not we think, Jeff is going to like this. 74% of you think the fans will accept a rebuild. 25% don't. So that adds up to 99%. Sorry, Jeff. So yeah, 3/4 of you think that the Canucks will accept a full rebuild. If the Canucks trade Horvat, I wonder if we could see them build up assets and eventually trade for first overall, assuming they don't win the draft lottery. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. Peters with Justin, some love for Lucas. A rebuild doesn't mean you can't build excitement around a team. Having a clear sense of direction and communicating it with fans is crucial. Like the Rangers, for example, with their rebuild message. Yes, they actually wrote a letter to their fans and said, we're going to be good, but it's going to take a few years. And look, they're good now. This season may be a disaster, but at least Canucks are undefeated when Clay and I go to the game. It's the same game. Yeah, we're 1-0. Baby, emo country, let's ride. Let's ride. Habs get it. That's why they were teeing for Bedard after they got first pick last year. Yeah, they're at the bottom, near the bottom. Do I think the Canucks will trade JT? I think they want to, but I just don't see it happening. Favorite Canucks moment this year? This year may have been the... Oh, no. It was the Hall of Fame game, meeting Luongo for me, and then Hall of Fame game, even though we lost because we saw the Sedins. I like the Canucks win over Montreal, and I like seeing myself on a billboard. Well, I have been a Canucks fan since the 82 Cup run. Good job, Brian. Me too. Which players do I think will not re-sign from the Canucks? I actually think the Canucks should, as much as I hate to say this, I think they should trade Kuzmenko, even though I have a feeling they're going to sign him. And I could see Horvat and Schenn being traded. The issue with Besser is he fits management's criteria as a young guy, but do you think Besser can get back to how he was playing a few years ago? It depends what you mean by how he was playing. He's become a more complete player, but his offense has dried up a little bit. Yeah, I think he is one guy you can move on from. As of right now, we would need to get even lower in the standings due to the rules of how far or up and down you can go. No, Mark, you can go 10 spots. You can go as high as 10 spots higher. So the Canucks can win the draft lottery right now. As far as the lottery goes, with Phillies win today, they passed Vancouver, who are now 7th worst. Progress depends what you mean by progress. Yeah, no, Justin, I think he's expressing himself well. He is welcome to express that he would vote for a rebuild, for sure. Absolutely, yes. Jeff does not like the missing 1%. Rosero on full T, bring the kid home. Lucas, I'll address it here because I'm seeing the messages. I have no issue with what people are saying. So you're welcome to message me, Lucas, but I'll say right here in front of everyone, I have no issue with people expressing their opinion. It might not be yours. It might not be mine. It might not be the next person's. But again, I have no issue with people expressing their opinion. Horvat draft was when the Canucks had 2 firsts. Maybe trade for that extra first. JT Bow first for first pick. I don't think that does it, Fillmore, because now you're saddling whoever gets Bedard with a $56 million. Sorry, whoever gets JT Miller with a $56 million contract. Avs should give us Landeskog for Bo at this time since he's injured. I think Colorado wants a second line center, but I don't think they're going to trade Landeskog to get it. Do you think it would be weird not having Horvat in a Canucks jersey? Not having if he does get, yes, Harry, would be very, very tough for me to see. The Canucks fan base will critique everything, but I think the majority will accept a rebuild. At this point, it seems silly debating to keep doing what they're doing. Enough is enough. So another vote for changing things up. Gurjot says, I feel like the Canucks will never win a cup. Maybe Clay should adopt JT Miller. I don't think even I could do this. Sorry, I get distracted when I read other messages. I don't think that I could even handle JT Miller. His swearing would probably throw me off a little bit, or maybe toughen me up. I don't know. Jacob, congrats. Jacob's home. Team Canada. I'm going to try and get him on a stream, but later on the week. Not right now. He's probably too exhausted, and tomorrow it'll be too late. So I'm going to try and get Jacob on a stream for later this week. Yeah, Jeff, I will get to the bottom of what's happening. I think people... yeah, I'm going to Jeff, leave it with me. I'll just say that. A full rebuild, sure, might mean more losing seasons, but at least there's a clear direction one way rather than being the mushy middle. Mushy middle, there's still excitement to be had with young picks and prospects. Yeah, I agree, Justin. The fact, the tough part is we don't have a lot of good picks and prospects. What do you think the Canucks standing will be at the end of the season? Man, Harry, the way we're going, I think we're going to wind up something like 35, 40, and 7. Is that up to 82? Yeah, that's 5 games under for sure. No way we're winning a cup until we get another superstar like Bedard. Bedard and PD together. Lucas, thank you for the donation. Choo-choo. Taking a long hiatus. Sorry, Clay. All the best. No problem, Lucas. Not sure if you're still here to hear this. But yeah, you're welcome to message me outside of this for sure. Peter, we all have it. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm going to... Japan 4, I would ask that you also be respectful in your messages as well. I think a deliberate rebuild would be accepted. Yeah, our poll was 75% thinking so. Trade Miller for McKinnon. I think Canucks fans would love that. I don't think Colorado fans would. I think I can handle the season not going our way just because of the big upcoming draft, but I really hope the failure can at least start progress in the right direction. If that makes sense. Yeah, it does make perfect sense. Jack says they should rebuild. The more losses that pile up, the happier I get. Okay, well, I wouldn't go that far. Once Bo gets traded, who do you vote for captain? I think Pettersson should be. I can't imagine JT and Mickey in the same household. Clay would probably disappear to Mexico or somewhere even further away. Jason Lim, the sponsor speaks. Either blow it up and stop giving us false hope, or I think there's a second part missing. Either blow it up and stop giving us false hope, or Jay, finish that off. I want to hear what you have to say. Would I coach bowling as Bruce Boldrow? Very good, Self Studios. That is almost as bad as my jokes at the end of these streams. Rebuild or not, what type of players do you hope the Canucks would target? Young players, defense. Work on the defense. We saw against Winnipeg just how bad the Canucks defense is. Could you see the Canucks getting a better player in the draft other than Bedard? No. There's some really good players, but I think Bedard is by far and away the best. For all those who eat, sleep, breathe this team, it definitely does add to the disappointment, but let's see what happens from now till the trade deadline. Yeah, Jason, I think that's where some people are kind of resigned to right now. What happens if the Canucks end up like the Senators and have to pay millions to the young players after the entry-level contracts and they still miss the playoffs? I'm not sure if you hear High T when I read that quote from Rutherford. It is tough to manage a team, especially a team that has a lot of bad salaries. No problem, Edmund. I'm going to be finishing in 5 minutes and then you can go back and watch the replay. No problem. What if we traded Horvat and magically started winning? Typical Canuck luck. That would be nuts. That would be nuts for sure. So when we say rebuild, does that mean all the older good players will be traded for? Yes. Coach Rob, generally the rebuild means if you know you're not going to be able to sign Horvat trade him because then you can get a 3 or 4 assets for him. So a rebuild is basically trading away your more established players for younger players, prospects, and picks with the hope that those guys will eventually be a good team. Oh, I see. Here's the second part of Jason's. Either go rebuild or try not to play like Donkey Doo-Doo. Even if we don't get Bedard, we are still destined for an elite player. Yes, but even deep drafts, they drop off somewhere. I don't know where that drop-off point is. Is it top 5? Is it top 10? We shall see. If we win the lottery, what dance will you do? Oh, Jack, I'll be pulling out the Running Man, the Cabbage Patch, the Kid and Play, the Worm, the Moonwalk, the Sun Walk, the Star Walk. I'll be doing lots. The Gritty, of course, got to go back to the Gritty. Let's do that first. We are world beaters, then we are AHL quality the next game. Ricky, can we trade Miller for you? I will retain his salary. Wow, you have $56 million? If Horvat does get traded, we should get a D-man back. Yes, and at least a prospect. I agree, Edmund. At least at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, Canuck success. We just want to reach it with different paths. That's very fair, and we got to honor each other's paths and each other's opinions for sure. Buying out Myers does not make sense. It simply makes sense to trade him after we pay him his bonus. And OEL, yeah, I've talked about that. It's not as bad as I thought, actually, the penalty. Ricky's okay on skates to get manhandled. I think we all would. There's no instant fix. The instant fix is Chicago, Arizona. Why are OEL and Myers together? Basically because they want Hughes and Bear together. So how do the Canucks manage OEL and his wonderful contract? I don't think you can buy it out. I think you just hope he gets better, which is not very hopeful. Benning regime just signed the worst contracts in the history of the Canucks, maybe minus Quinn Hughes. Yeah, the Quinn Hughes was a good one. Are you concerned about Rutherford comments? Does it give me a lot of confidence as president of the team? No, Edmund, I was fine with it. I'm not sure if you were here when I read them out. I was actually fine with it. Hey, DJ, this team is bipolar and high Clay. As long as you didn't say Clay is bipolar and high team. Yes. It's not all Miller's fault that they chose him over Miller. It's frustrating to see the constant negativity from him, whether it's not back-checking or swearing, turnovers, and so on. Yeah, I just think he's going to be even if it's not deserved, I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, he could be the natural whipping boy here for 7 years. If the Sens get Ryan Reynolds, what actors should we have owning the Canucks? How about Bublé? He's a musician. I'd love to see Clay doing all those dances. You're probably the only one. I had a moment of profanity. I stopped myself from typing out. Sorry for the half-butt message. 95 people in here. If we get to 100, that would be great. And hit the like. Yeah, I think we're hovering between 90 and 100, but I do want to get out in the next 5 minutes. But yes, hit the like button for sure. We should get to at least 45 in there. Seth Rogen says, Rosie, the only positive about the Canucks is this Clay's positivity and community. I would agree with that most of the time. Miller just needs a coach like Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. Find your happy place. Tap it in. Just tap it in. Emo country, let's ride. Let's do it. If we win the lottery, would we do a 2-hour special? Ricky, for you, I would do at least a 2.5-hour special. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on a sec. Okay, maybe not. Excuse me, I just did. I see if the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, your dance will look like the time you fell out a window. No, correction, I fell in a window. I was getting in the house. Clay is very positive and has a great community. Yeah, and as we've seen tonight, a great community doesn't always mean a very harmonious community or a perfect community. But I've always said, and I don't take sides, but we must be able to express differing opinions without getting defensive. We must be able to express differing opinions while being respectful. And we must be able to react to differing opinions by not being defensive or disrespectful. And I've seen a bit of that tonight from more than one person. We risk wasting PD and Hughes primes with a full rebuild. They might not want to stay, but if we don't do it and stay the course, we'll still do that anyways. Yeah? Who says PD wants to sign here long term? Okay, I'm going to go really fast now. We can hide the OEL contract if we trade everyone else. Yes, I'm concerned about how Canucks have started. And Harry, it's not even a start anymore. We're almost halfway through the season. Let's take a chance to see a full rebuild, see if it works, and if not, so be it. But if it does, we get excited fan base again. It's been too long. Yeah, it's been 11 or 12 years. I saw PD throw the stick at the bench. Yeah, he rarely shows his frustration. He's an emotional player, but he doesn't show frustration like that. So that was bad. Can the Canucks put on a different goal song at Rogers Arena when they score a goal? Yeah, that's what people like. That Avs game was a good game. Yes, I not only fell in a window, but climbed over a couch. Thanks, Benning, says Brian. Shannon's worried that we might lose Pedersen. Clay would do a 24-hour live stream and live vlog if the Canucks ever won the cup. Yeah, in fact, I would do a 24-hour live stream with all you guys in my house. Prediction for the year, the Canucks finally win the cup. Honestly, like 2040. It sounds so stupid, like 17 years from now. But it's one thing to get to the Final Four, but it's another thing to actually do it. Oh. Should the Canucks trade Martin? He's got no value. Gerjot. Thank you, Jeff. I like being here. This market gets too sensitive, emotional, invested. Then we just get our hearts broken every year, but we come back for more pain. Like the ex-boyfriend, girlfriend coming back. Yeah, falling in a window is better than... Yes, at least I had Kayla's bed to save me. P.D. Hughes and a first-round pick for Connor Bedard. I would not do that, actually. It might take 2 of those 3, but I would not do all 3 of those. I think you only trade one of P.D. or Hughes. I wouldn't do both. Have I ever cheered for the Canucks while they were playing an opponent? I want to go to the Seattle versus Vancouver game. No, I've actually not seen the Canucks play in an opposing arena yet. Bless you, Clay. Amen to that speech. No need to be defensive and disrespectful. Let's continue to root for this team with the great Canuck Clay leading the community. Thank you. Bedard holds out and requests a trade to Vancouver. That would be amazing. Are you opposed to the Canucks trading Kuzmenko and Shen for picks? No, I'm not. If that's a way to, as part of a bigger move about Horvat to rebuild, I'd be okay with that. Appreciate that, Justin. I'm 2-7 at games this year and only seen 1 win at home. Rosie, you know what you must do. Don't go to any more games, please. I'm just kidding. Jaskrin, unless you want them to get Bedard, then go to all the games, Rosie. Jaskrin, at least we get picks. Desperately need. 2070, yikes. I will be 96 years old, see edits. I don't think I'll even be walking around anymore. I hope I'm still alive then. Any word on Demko road trip? He went on it. That doesn't mean he's practicing or going to play. Horvat Miller first round for Bedard. I don't think whoever has Bedard will do that because then you're stuck with Miller for 7 years. Andrew, you and Jason can talk about your ex-girlfriend off stream. The Canucks do seem to be able to up the effort for big opponents, but the defensive structure is very loose. Yes, very, very loose. I feel like management choosing Miller over Horvat is like that dude in high school who chose to end up with a very beautiful but very toxic and ignorant. That is true. Jason and Andrew are still talking about ex-girlfriends. It's not. I'm not even gonna put it on the screen. Just keep reading it yourself. Do you think Bedard will even match up to McDavid? I think he could. He could be that good. Not the exact same playing style, but he could be that much of an impact player for sure. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jason. Please DM Andrew. Canucks Positivity Club will still be going strong in 2070. Maybe a little slower, or maybe my kids will be running it. Miller and first round for Bedard. Horvat and first round for Bedard. Not enough, Harry, in both scenarios. And let's end with this. LOL, Canucks fan base, never dull. That's for sure, especially this group. Friends, that was a lot of fun today. That was always interesting in the chat. I have some ideas of how I want to move forward with the moderators going forward. And I think today may be the night where will spring me into action. But let's not over dramatize this. Let me kind of think about what I want to do here going forward. So thank you for being here. Moderators, I still think I'm going to thank you for a good job today. You know how much I appreciate you. But I do want to rethink exactly how we are doing it. But I still appreciate you nonetheless, for sure. Members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang. All 3 were here tonight. Thank you for your support. Hall of Fame and franchise members, thanks to all of you as well. To everyone who donated, I believe that was Carol and Lucas tonight. Thank you. My apologies if I missed everyone else. We have a new member. How did I miss that? I don't know if it flashed across my screen. Did it flash across your screen, you guys? Who is the new member? I think I missed it. Maybe someone became a member outside of the stream. So thank you, whoever that was. I'll look it up as soon as I'm done. And like I said, everyone who donated, became members, subscribed, liked the video, all of that. So thanks, everyone. Discussion is always active. It's always lively. It doesn't always have to be unanimous. And I think that's one thing we are continuing to learn, sometimes the hard way, on this channel. But it's nothing that you and I can't handle together. Sound good? Enough said. Tomorrow, it's Vancouver. It's Pittsburgh. I'll be coming home from work. Then I'll be bowling. So no post-game stream right away. But then by 11 o'clock, after my bowling night, who knows, maybe Jacob will get another perfect game tomorrow. I'll be streaming at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, right here on YouTube. Same time, same place. So I hope you can join me then. In the meantime, thanks again to all of you. Thanks again to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Rate and review if you're listening on a podcast. And thanks to all of you. On your way out, subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, and definitely continue to leave comments on the way out. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. I will see you tomorrow night at 11 p.m. And I must say that so far, Humpty Dumpty is having a really terrible winter, which sucks because he had a great fall. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.